Hope you're able to hear me.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. So we are going to talk about a very important topic today. Very, very important indeed. And of course, this is one of the subjects which is very close to my heart. I've been practicing this for the last 12 years in this area. Let me go directly to the screen. So we have this POSH compliance and necessity. Okay, as we start, I would like to take you all in 1992. Imagine India of 1992. In 92, there was a small village called Batera, very close to Rajasthan. In this village called Batera, there used to be a lady, a woman who used to stay there. Her name was Bhauri Devi. Now, Bhauri Devi used to work as a Sathi with the Women Development Department. This was somewhere around May, when Women Development Department came up with a program to stop child marriages. So that these Sathis, all these Sathis, who are people who are working as Sathis, will go around and talk to villagers, talk to people who are there, and dissuade them from child marriages. The reason why April, May was 5th of May was Akha Tej. Akha Tej was a very auspicious occasion in Rajasthan, and on that day, normally, there are lots of marriages that take place in Rajasthan. Now, this happened. Incidentally, there was one marriage which was going to happen of one of the higher caste person and his daughter. And I'm repeating, his daughter, all of 9 months old. Imagine a girl of just 9 months old, and he was going to get her married. Bhauri Devi reported this to SDO, DSP, and somehow, because of the police intervention, marriage did not happen in Akha Tej. However, late at night, next day, 2 a.m., marriage happened. 9-month-old girl got married. And I'm talking about 1992. 45 years after we received independence. The marriage happened on the second day, not on the decided time. However, then there was a grudge against Bhauri Devi. Because of her, marriage could not happen at the appointed time. What happened? There was immediate economic and social boycott of Bhauri Devi. She was Kumar. So whatever earthen pot she used to make, people stopped buying, people stopped giving her milk and those kind of things. Milk basically because the daughter, the father of the daughter who was getting married, who got married, the 9-month-old child, was from a milkman caste. There was a boycott. She was ostracized from the village. She had very difficult time. 6 months later, on 22nd of September, in the evening, she was working in the village along with her husband. What happened? 5 men attacked her husband. He was beaten black and blue until he was unconscious. And 2 people got hold of Bhauri Devi, and she was totally angry. Somehow, after that incident, she gathered courage and contacted her employers. The person took her to the nearest village, nearest police station, which was say a few kilometers away. Normal apathy at police stations. She had to face that. Not only that, they also asked to remove her lehenga. And she was to asked to submit that lehenga with the police station because that is an evidence. There is semen samples in it. Bhauri Devi used blood-laden uh, her husband's what do you call peta. That was used to protect herself. And she walked 3.5 kilometers at 1 o'clock at night. Next day, in the village primary healthcare center, doctor refused to do medical examination, and the reason given was there was no lady medical doctor. He gave a letter, and the letter mentioned that they have to ascertain the age of the victim. That letter was when she was sent to Savai Mansingh Hospital in Jaipur, which was approximately 40-50 kilometers away from Batera. Next day when she goes there, the doctors there in Savai Mansingh Hospital, they say you have to get the judicial magistrate's order. By the time she reaches there, the time was over. Judicial magistrate refused to work overtime, said come back tomorrow. Next day, by the time she procured the order, goes to Savai Mansingh Hospital and gets the vaginal swab test done, 48 hours had already passed. And Indian law says the vaginal swab test has to be done in 24 hours. This was one of the major profiles. And her fight started from there. She never won that. All the lots of protection given to the perpetrators. Although she lost that fight in the legal court, in the courts and in the legal terrain, for very flimsy reason. One of the reasons given by the court was there were two Chacha and Bhatija amongst the people who raped her. And court says Chacha cannot rape someone in front of a Bhatija. That was a flimsy reason. However, lots of organizations along with Vishakha, they filed an appeal with Supreme Court. Supreme Court observed in this case that India, although signed a treaty with UN human rights, however, we still don't have at that particular point in time, the legal infrastructure to handle the cases, to provide the protection to the women who are working, whether at workplace, whether at domestic residences, or places like that. So that particular time in 1997, Supreme Court came in with Vishakha guidelines. These guidelines were famous, and these guidelines basically became the basic foundation for the law which is there in place now. In 1997, when court directed Indian government to form a law, until that time, this Vishakha guidelines will remain in force. It took 16 years for the judicial system to work that. The law got passed in 2013. And we have the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Reversal Act. This is the act. This is mirror effect. Okay. So this is the act which came into picture in 2013. We are going to focus our today's discussion on two important aspects. You see it now? Compliance and necessity. These are the two aspects of our discussion today. Compliance, there are two important points. There are lots of things to be discussed here, but we are going to limit our discussions on law, unimportant provisions, and employee's duty. Our necessity, what is the current scenario, and brush up on gender and organization culture. This is what we are going to discuss today. So the law which we are discussing, which came into existence on 9th of December 2013, that was the effective date of the Act and the rules. So there are 2-3 important provisions which we're going to discuss today. The statute places an obligation on all the employers.
Hang on. There is some people are saying that your voice is not very audible.
My voice is not audible?
No,
Okay.
Amit, hi, this is Reema here. Hello.
Hello.
Very good evening to all. Amit, your voice is audible and clear, but there is a background noise. I'm just wondering if the host can put himself on mute.
Yeah.
Just a
Like
sec.
a
It is, I think,
fan or something, some noise which is, yes, sounds a lot more better. Thank you.
it's gone now.
No, it's
That
still
is
coming
AC, I
there.
think.
Okay.
Oh, is the AC
Still,
going
still it is going on. Still
It's
it is
going
on.
on. So then it's not mine. It's somewhere else.
Hang on.
Okay, we'll focus on what you're saying, Amit. Please proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me now, all of you?
Yeah, it is.
1 second, Amit. 1 second, Amit. Amit, you can go ahead now.
Okay, fantastic.
No, but then this voice is from your end itself.
My end only.
Yeah,
Okay, can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Is this still noise?
Yeah. There's a small noise which is coming in.
Okay, fine.
That's absolutely fine. You can just pick your ear mouthpiece near your mouth at least, so that we'll be able to hear you clearly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'll speak aloud.
Yeah.
Okay. So the obligation is there on all employers, whether public or private sectors, to set up an internal complaints committee. Now it is internal committee. In 2016, there was an amendment. In case the offices of the workplace are located in different places, then there has to be a separate internal committee for each location. And failure to set up such committees is a non-cognizable offense under the law. There are cases where companies who fail to set up committees, even pre-law, for investigating the cases, they were penalized by the court of law. In some cases, in some companies, there were women grievances sales. If they were there, if it matches the constitution of IC, it's fine. Otherwise, it is not fine. You still have to have an internal committee as per the statutory requirements which are mentioned in the law. So who is a worker? This is employer. Worker, this law is for women. So aggrieved women who can be working, who is visiting a workplace, or who is a student, can also be a domestic worker, regular or temporary, ad hoc, daily wager, or working on voluntary basis, or for remuneration, or direct employee, or a third party employee, or a contract employee, or any person who is on the probation, or an apprentice, or anything like that. He is a person who is considered as a worker and has a right to make a complaint to the internal committee, or say for example in case of domestic worker, it is local committee. Local committee is the committee which is there in every district of India, which is set up by district officer. And the composition of local committee also is similar. So what is a workplace? Workplaces, it can be a government office, it can be a private sector organization, hospital, nursing home, education institute, sports institute, stadium, any other places which is visited by an employee arising out of or during the course of employment, including transportation, which is provided by the employer for undertaking such journey. It can also be a dwelling place or house in case of domestic worker. The Act also mandates employer to form, as I said, internal committee at every workplace. Now, there are companies who have offices in different cities across India. If the office has employees which are more than 10 working in the same location, sharing the same office, then there has to be a separate committee for the location. That is mandated by the law. As per section 4 of the Act, they have mentioned what should be the composition of the committee. Committee should have a chairperson who should be a woman who should be working at the senior level as an employee. Now, if the employee at the senior level is not available at that particular location, then the person can be nominated from other location or other unit or other subsidiary of the office of the company from different office. But there has to be a woman who is the presiding officer or a chairperson. There have to be 2 employees to act as a member, and these employees should be committed to the cause of women, or they have some legal knowledge, or they have experience of social work, or they have intention to work in this area, interest to work in the area of prevention of sexual harassment or violence against women, or women's issues basically. There is to be 1 external member. This is compulsory. Every committee should have 1 external, minimum 1. You can have more, but minimum 1. Now, external members should be from NGO or which are various associations which are committed to the cause of women. A person who is familiar with the issues of sexual harassment can also be an external member. Any person who is familiar with labor law, service law, civil law, criminal law also can act as an external member on this committee. Another very important provision of this section is 50% of the members on this committee, they have to be ladies, minimum 50%. The term of the internal committee members, it should not exceed 3 years. Social worker who acts as an external worker should at least have 5 years of experience in that particular field, handling the issue or familiarity with the law or working in for the cause of women. There are various important aspects which important employer needs to take care of. We will actually discuss only few aspects. Very important, yes, providing safe working environment for employees of the company. Now, safety from not only from the internal employees, but which also includes somebody who visits the place, the external person who comes and visits the office place. Employer has to provide safety from the external members. It is mandatory that they have to create and communicate detailed policy with very easy access. Easy access, that means it should be at such a place, it should be all the provisions or some of the provisions of the policy should be displayed at a particular place, and employees should have an access, whether on the HRMS, whether on the email, whether on the system, wherever on the website, to the full policy and various provisions of the policy. Now, they also, in order for them to understand the policy and various provisions which are there in the policy, employer should conduct awareness programs during the induction and even otherwise. They have to orient employees on various aspects of policy, prevention, prohibition, and redressal. So, policy should have all these aspects. How do we prevent? How we can make the working environment safer for people? How do we prohibit? What are the prohibition-free measures which are there in the policy? And if there is an employment, if there is a complaint, what is the redressal mechanism? What should employee do in case of an incident of sexual harassment? All these things employees should be aware. Employers have to make every employee aware, and employee means not only permanent employee, but the contract workers, workers who are on third party, or probationers or interns, everyone. The definition of worker, let's see. Of course, employer has to constitute internal committee. They have to ensure that committee is trained. The capacity of the committee, internal committee members have to be built by way of training program. It is free for every employer as per the law. You should declare the names and contact details of the internal committee members, so that everybody knows whom to contact in case of an incident, or if they have any query, they should be able to contact these people. There are penal consequences, of course, of sexual harassment. So it should act as a deterrent for prohibition that should be displayed. Employer should also provide necessary facility to the internal committee for dealing with these complaints, conducting the inquiry, various proceedings, or their regular meetings. It is mandatory for internal committee to have meetings. It is good to have quarterly meetings and annual meetings and submit those reports to the management. Prepare the annual report to submit it to the district officer. The law mandates every company to submit this to district officer. So every company which has 10 or more employees need to have a committee, need to submit the district report to the district officer. If your company is in Mumbai, then it is mandatory to register your district with the district officer. Reporting the directors or company's annual report is also important. Last year there was a provision which was amended in the law, where in the company report, company has to declare to the bosses in their company report whether they are complying with the norms set out by the law. So this has become mandatory. So we have seen compliance. We've seen, now we'll go to the necessities. These are compliance part. There would be quite a few other things on the compliance, but why it is important, why the law, what is the provision in the law, what is the duty of the employer in order to prohibit, in order to prevent, in order to redress various complaints which may come up, is what we've seen. Necessity. Now, why is it necessary? I have seen many of my clients, last more than a decade or so, quite a few people will say, oh, you know, it is necessary as a compliance, because they will check, labor office will come and visit the office and they will say, okay, do you have a committee? Have you trained them? And that is why we want this training program, or that is why we want it. It's just a tick mark. No, is this sufficient? It is not sufficient, because in order to create the workplace which is compliant, was, yes, and safe for everyone, you need to have a provision. You need to orient people, because that saves a lot of money to the employer as well. See, there's a Bombay Stock Exchange 100 companies report. Now this report says there's 14% rise in sexual harassment complaints in the year of 2019. This is for BSE 100 companies. And for 100 based companies, there was a survey which was done. There's a 30% rise in the sexual harassment. So there were 823 complaints in financial year 2019 compared to 722 the previous year. There was a Me Too movement which came up somewhere around 2014-17, around 2014, where there were 371 complaints in 2014, registered complaints of sexual harassment. In 2017, it went up to 570, 18, 722, and 19, 823. So that was a huge jump. And of course, owing to the legislation, the awareness, and lots of companies creating the environment to enable people to come and report. Number of pending cases are also increased by 14%, up from 11% in the previous year. This is 2019. There's one way of saying it, this women's representation also has gone up from 20% in 2016 to 33% in 2019. Now look at the statistics. If you look at cases of insult to modesty of women, This is the period of 2014 to 16 at office premises, and look at other places which are related to work. Look at the jump here. So most of the incidences which happen at the other places related to work. This is from the National Criminal Register. That gives the data. Now, I am going to send you a link in the chat. Okay, I would like all of you to go to that link and attempt answer the questions. Okay, there are 5 questions which are easy questions, just yes or no, and the link is here. Okay. I would like all of you to attempt this. Just click on it. All of you are able to open it. Sending the link again.
No.
I've sent the
some
link
people
again. Okay. Some people have completed, some people are not able to open it.
Yes.
I've got some responses, yes.
Can you shorten the link?
Okay, just a second. I've shortened the link again. I have received few responses. Yes. Yes. Receiving the responses. Good. Already received 25 responses. Okay. I will start sharing you the answers. Can you see? Can you see the screen? So we have quite a few responses. Very good. Thank you. Look at this. We've asked people to associate the gender with the words which they've seen. When we say leader, out of 31 responses, almost 50% of the responses, respondents say male. Nurturing, more than 90% of people say female. strong. Very good. More than 50% people say female. Police. 2/3 of people feel the men. Nurse. 95+% people feel the nurses are ladies. Thank you very much. The point I wanted to bring to all of your notice is when these are the kind of gender stereotypes which are associated with us. Now these stereotypes which form, these are very strong and formed right from the childhood to us. I'm sharing the screen with you. So these gender stereotypes are, I would ask you a question. What do you see here on the screen? Now you can write it in your chat. What do you see here? On the screen. Yes. Yes, William sir, you're right. Strength being associated with women, and majority of them are saying that, is really heartening. Okay, we are correct. Running the task marathon. What else do you see? Whatever you see, you can just say. Women have many more obstacles than men can be seen in your picture. Fantastic. Great.
Woman is a multitasker.
Right. Great. Women manage things more than men. They have more hurdles as compared to men. Okay.
And without
great.
getting paid.
Multitask. Yes. Women have more hurdles than men in terms of what they manage on a daily basis. Advaita, thanks. Too much burden put on women to prove themselves ahead of men. Correct? Saloni? Women have more responsibility, Ruchira. Correct? Running for completion of tasks. When women running with childless children responsibility, fantastic. Men for job, women for rest of all, including job. Kamal sir, right? Fantastic. So as you can see, can you see the expression on the faces of both the people? Both of them are running in the race. The women are also, discrimination and injustice start from India. It is everywhere, honor 7C, it is everywhere in the world. Now, another startling statistics I will tell you. When we talked about leader and we say more than 50% of the participants in our survey said that leaders are men. In corporate, out of every 10 CEOs, only 1.5 are women. In every 10 men CEOs, 1.5 women are CEOs. That's the worldwide average, global average for corporate leadership. Fantastic. Most of the work goes unrecognized. Despite handling all the domestic plus the hurdles, which regular hurdles, corporate hurdles, women are still running along with the men in the race. So that is something. Let us look at this small video and see if we you see, is it visible? Can you hear it?
No. We can't hear.
Okay. So I will play it here. Yes, it started. How many times this happens? This is a video about how there are stereotypes which are made. Just think of when we were children, whether we were in school, that time. How many times it happened that I'm saying mother? Mother has asked us, Beta, come in the kitchen. You have to learn how to cook, how to make chapatis if you are a boy. And how many times this has happened if you are a girl? There has been, and I'm saying this, whether your mother has asked, because fathers don't ask this kind of questions. Fathers will ask you a question like, "Beta, aage kya banna hai?" Isn't it? So these stereotypes which are there, can you see it now? Can you hear?
No, Amit, no.
You can't hear?
No.
Can you hear it?
Can you send the link so that I can share it through my screen?
Okay. Okay. You can't hear it still, right?
No.
Okay. Okay. I will stop it and let us go to the presentation. You can't hear it. Okay. Fine. So this is, I will explain you what the video is all about. The video is about how this is about the stereotypes. The lady comes home, she's working. When she comes home, the husband is sitting in a chair. As you can see, he was asking for a tea, he was asking for coffee and something like. And she is doing all the work while she's also handling her official responsibilities. That is where. Okay. So, and the father writes her a letter saying that why laundry should only be done by mother. Many of the times, lots of us have seen that normally these kind of household chores are part of responsibilities of ladies. Now there is lots of times when we discuss this point during the workshops all over India, people say now things have changed. Husbands have to also do the chores. However, the mentality, the unconscious bias which everyone has in the society has not changed at all. Even if it is responsibility, even if it's husband who is doing it within that particular household, a lady is considered responsible for the proper carrying out of the task. Say, for example, you go to somebody's place and you see the house is not clean or something. In that house, even if the cleaning responsibilities of a husband, you will still feel, कैसी lady है, इसने घर भी साफ नहीं रखा. Same way, whatever things which are considered, that these are stereotypes which are formed. These are ladies' jobs. These are jobs by women. So those are the things which are considered to be the jobs which are. That is how the stereotype. I'm sending you another link, Pranavesh. Now this is,
Amit, can you send me the name?
yes,
of,
I'm sending. I'm
yeah.
sending. I've sent you.
Yeah, 1 second. Is it the driving TV commercial?
Yeah, just a sec. I'm sending. I'm sending you the link also.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yes. Okay.
Pranash, I sent you the link.
Yes, I got it. Okay.
Correct.
Here I am.
Okay. Please look at this.
Just give me a minute. I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah. So these are stereotypes which are formed over ages. Now we can see this ad. Well, some of you would have seen it, if you remember this.
ओ मैडम थोड़ा जल्दी करो ना, पूरा थिएटर खरीदोगी क्या? वो लड़के नहीं, लड़का है, बेटा है मेरा। बाल कटवा उसके, ऐसे बाप हो यार तुम, शट अप, मैं उसकी माँ हूँ। इतना बड़ा मुंह खोलोगे, नई बड़ी कैडबरी चॉकलेट्स दो, चॉकलेट का एटम।
Does this happen? Does this happen to us? The stereotypes and these kind of incidences? These form the biases in the minds of people. And they actually impact the behavior of people. So, when we look at it from, say, for example, various social point of view, we have seen quite a few campaigns where campaigns say, Beti Bachao, wherein what is the underlying message which is given? Beti Bachao means, बेटियां दुबली है क्या, असहाय है क्या, अबला है क्या? Is that the message we trying to convey? Vidya Balan says, rightly so. Now it is not enough to tell our girls you are equal to the boys, but you need to tell our boys you are equal to the girls. Until that is where the change will start. The unconscious biases have to be removed slowly. It is a process, and it has to happen at various levels. And these biases actually impact a lot of thinking even at corporate. So, what happens in the nature? In the nature, you look at, this is a picture of a jacana. Jacana is a bird wherein males stick around and incubate the eggs. They raise the offspring. After giving birth, females fly. They just go out of the picture. And you will find n number of examples in the nature wherein it doesn't conform to our norms of gender. So nature clearly says that the gender norms are not conformed, which we have conformed. We've said this is boy, this is girl. If there is a ponytail, then it is girl. If there is small hair, then it's boy. Shirt top. Have you seen anybody going to a party, any boy going to a party wearing a sari? If something like this happens, you will laugh. Now a lockdown is happening, everybody is working from home. During the discussions, during the meeting, if there are all online meetings, a lady says, "नहीं यार, अभी सब बर्तन साफ करने हैं." Nowadays, even if a boy says, if a man says, हाँ थोड़ा आज मुझे सब साफ सफाई करना है, क्लीनिंग करना है, कपड़े ये करना है, still is accepted with a laugh. how many times, how many people are really comfortable having this kind of conversation during lunchtime in the office? That is where we need to break those biases. And that is why it is very necessary to have these kind of policy, and another very important aspect of the law is the law is for women. What about other employees? The law also says you have to take, as an employer, you have to take care of all the employees in your organization. There are men, there are, who are the other people who are there? There are trans individuals. How many times it happens? What kind of interaction, if we see a trans individual, if you see a person of other gender than trans individual, is there a difference in our interaction with those kind of different types of people? That is where we have to change the biases. That is where we form those biases. I remember right from the childhood, even if we started talking about trans individuals, we were asked to shut. And we were given a subtle message that they're danger, don't be near them, don't talk to them. Just whenever they're there, you just have to. And we used to get the feeling, just go away, just stay away from them, keep distance. When you have these kind of subtle messages, how would you include? It is very essential for making this society as inclusive society, making the offices as inclusive offices, include everyone and remove those biases about every gender. It's not women's issue, it's a human issue. And we also have to understand, that in these kind of things, it is impact. We have to respect everyone. What is the impact on someone may not be the impact on another. Somebody say, मेरा intention वैसे नहीं था, but it is not intention, but the impact which is more important in cases of sexual harassment. And we have to respect those personal boundaries to create that safety around the office and the workplace, around people. Means there are lots of other things. However, we have less time. I would stop here on these two aspects where it is necessary to have policy, safety of every employee, and various important aspects, how it is important to comply with the law and legislation. These are the two aspects we've seen today. If you have any queries, type and you further can stay in touch with me. You can ask me these questions. Pranavesh, we can open the floor for questions, queries. If people have any queries, questions, you can ask.
Just give me a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, so people can have asking that question and answer. You can raise your hands and ask questions to Amit. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand and ask a question.
Any questions? Were there any questions earlier in the chat?
No, I guess there was one question here which I saw.
Yeah.
1 second. I want to know about compliance point of view.
Compliance point of view. Okay. Who has asked the question?
Jyoti Dadlani has asked the question.
Jyoti, can you explain a little more? What do you want to ask? Jyoti, are you there?
Jyoti might not be in this.
Okay. Because it is very essential to understand what exactly she was to ask. Compliance point of view, yes, but I mean, as I mentioned, there are it is compulsory, it is mandatory for every organization needs to follow the guidelines. Whatever mandatory provisions in the law has to be followed. They need to have a committee. They need to redress the complaints as per the provisions of the law, as per the uh, principles of natural justice. So it is important to see that every party gets the opportunity to present their point of view in the case. And not following any of these norms are subject to various kinds of penalties. It can go up to, it can be 50,000, it can go up uh, if the company doesn't comply with any of those provisions, which are mandatory for them. Mandatory for SMEs, mandatory for small, bigger companies, mandatory for NGOs, mandatory for every type of organization. The moment you have 10 or more employees, this is mandatory.
Amit, hi, this is Hima here.
Hi, Karima.
Okay, in the ICC, in one of your slides, you stated
Huh.
that the committee that is formed internally, the ICC, says the eligibility is for 3 years. Okay,
Yes.
after which
Yes.
the team has to move. So every
Correct.
time the members of the committee, do they need to again go and re-register themselves? I mean, is this the norm one needs to follow with the local committee
Okay. Now
of
this is
that
you're
city
talking.
or state? Yeah.
So okay, let me rephrase the question. If I understood, let me know. You want to ask after 3 years when we form a new committee, do we still go and register the committee after 3 years with the district office? Is that the question?
Yeah, my understanding is it should be a yes, but I'm not too sure.
Yes, it has to be. When there is a committee change in the committee, you have to inform district office. But you can do it annually.
You can do it annually.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
If
you.
there is one change, because it is possible that employees change, the members of the, for various reasons, the member of the committee can change.
Thank you. But there are even provisions for to protect the males from harassment, and the forum of the committee differs. So, is this something in terms of the registration that also needs to be adhered in the case of males within organizations?
In case of men,
Yeah. From
uh,
workplace point of view, we have both the genders, which we treat them on equal parameters. We have
huh,
the ICC by the statute established especially to cater to the women. So likewise, we have the law about the hiring manager. So do they have any norms like this to go and register in the local committee? Anything related to the men?
you're talking about where do, I mean, is it about if men are facing sexual harassment, what do they do? Is that a question? You know?
Some kind of like how the members, the ICC has a 3-year thing which they go and they have to register.
Correct.
So is there anything like this even for the males?
So IC has to, internal committee has to be registered. So internal committee, there are men and women both in the committee. There can be men, there can be men and women both in the committee. 50% have to be men. So the composition of the committee, so you have to inform district office that we have a committee and these are the people who are part of the committee. That is, once you've done, you don't have to repeat, keep on doing it again and again. Whether it is men or women, you have to inform the district office that yes, we have a committee and this committee comprises of following members. That's it. And we are complying with the law.
Got you.
There are a couple of questions I can see. Lunal asks, as the lockdown is going on, whether external members should insist on online meeting as a compliance. Okay. Now there are two things here. A very good question, because what can happen? Lockdown is there. You can have a meeting for sure. Now, Mrunal, if you are asking about the internal committee meeting, which is a review meeting which happens at the internal committee, if that is the question, is that the question, Mrunal?
Yes, that's the question. because if the case is going on, then it might be compulsory to conduct the meeting.
Now, case is going on, it's different. So I'm taking out this question as regular internal committee meetings, the quarterly and annual meeting.
Yeah, please.
Mridul, what happens is during this lockdown, these are the times which are unprecedented. So during this time, it is okay to have a meeting if all the members are not. Because some companies, there are members of the internal committee who are on leave. Company has put people on leave, forced leave or paid leave or unpaid leave or whatever. If you're working and you can have a meeting, but you can also postpone that meeting and you can have that meeting after lockdown. See, using the Zoom or various online platforms, these meetings can be conducted. This is allowed. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Amit, a connecting question. This is Reema, if I may please.
Yes.
So there would be a time also from the time the case, there would be a timeline by when the case has to even be closed, right? Even in these unprecedented
Yes,
situations, like a 90 days or something.
Correct. 90 days, you're right. So
it is within 90 days of the 3 months of the
if there is a case, correct.
complaint that is lodged.
Yes, if the complaint is there and the inquiry proceedings are going on, then see, you can adjourn it, giving the reasons, and you have to basically, there can be various things which you can do. Either yes, look at it that interim measures are in place in terms of there should not be any problem or any force or any influence on the complainant or the witnesses by anyone from the management or the respondent. That has to be seen. You have to take interim measures to stop those kind of things. Another aspect is you can also take the undertaking from people that you will not do any of these kind of things, right? And there should not be any unnecessary communication to any of those people involved during this. That is possible. So, and based on that, you can adjourn because of the kind of time. Yes.
I have a question here. So training and development generally happens this posh wala one chota sa part where we make them what do you say, just basic introduction about what is posh policy and stuff while we give induction training. So while my trainers give induction training, there's one slide of posh training. So it is not in there, just to make them awareness of awareness kind of post. Okay, ICC committee hai and we all have this in place karke.
Right.
But is there any formal procedure after once we do that post training? Is there any formal procedure that we need to go back to the government stating that okay, we are also doing it and stuff like that, or any formal paperwork to be done, or will the audit and compliance team take care of all these things?
Okay. Now, Pranav, good question, and Rupali Rane also is asking the similar question. She's asked these questions like there is a lot of paperwork around POSH. Anyway, in the future, can we file it returns online? And does online POSH training qualify for awareness? So you have also asked a similar question in terms of training after the induction training. Is there anything else we need to do? And do we file this with the district officer, whether we have done this?
Correct.
So the answer to this question, online POSH training can qualify for awareness. It has to be ongoing. Second thing, after the induction training, if it is sufficient to consider 3 elements: prevention, prohibition, and redressal. So if it takes care of these 3 elements and make people aware of their responsibility to keep, it is not only employer's duty to keep the workplace safe, it also is employee's duty who's there. So how they can keep their workplace safe, all those norms, policy clears that and it is clear to the employee that it's fine. In the annual report, which is submitted to the district officer, so Pranavesh, these measures, whatever awareness measures you have taken for the company has to be reported.
Okay, okay.
so that because it is mandatory that you have to conduct these programs, and if it comes, they're satisfied.
Oh, okay, okay.
Whereas it should not be tick mark. It
Ah.
should be because if it is only tick mark, then it will not serve the purpose. The purpose is not the tick mark. Purpose is to actually create the safety work.
Yeah, yeah. No, but we do it. We do it because we have 1 or 2 slides in the induction module itself. So we have kept that 1 or 2 module because what we are doing is we have an internal complaint committee where earlier there was one member being resigned, so I had to jump into that position. So internal complaint committee, I am also one of the member. But now then CEO said, okay, why is there male members in the committee? There has to be 2 female members also. So
50% of the
50% of the
composition has to be.
Then yeah, it is up to us. Then my CEO said that why not chuck off all the male people and only keep female and keep the CHRO on the top. So then things happen like that. So we are a part of ICC because we are into HR group.
Normally avoid HR being part of the committee. Okay, another the answer to Rupali's question on too much paperwork around POSH, no. You just have to submit one report at the end of the year and just keep on reviewing it every 3 months. So there isn't a lot of paperwork, Rupali, and this report is also very simple. Can we file the returns online? Yes, you can file the returns. Nowadays, a lot of places where the online infrastructure is there, you can file. But it is also easy. You just take a print and courier it to the or send it by post to the relevant authority. Is fine. Have I answered, Rupali, your questions?
Rupali?
Rupali?
We have post-test after post training unless the employee clears with more than 90%, then only we sign off yes.
Okay,
So
this is
yes,
question.
you answered the question. I just said that in terms of previously, it was more like, tick mark kind of a training. But now once we keep the strict guideline that unless you go through that and clear 90% on that, your POSH awareness is not fully completed. That's yielding better results rather than doing it in a classroom kind of a format, considering with multi-location we need to deal. I found it.
Okay.
Rupali, just to understand from your perspective,
Yeah.
how much days do you have a formal post training coming from some external resources, or maybe your trainers do the in-house training for 2 days, 1 day, jo bhi program hota hai?
My HR Sparks, but what I feel is they are not, equipped enough to do that in a right manner. Hence, we've gone for online training where the expert is talking and there is a post-test also, which ensures that the person has completed, understood, and done. So that's what I was asking Amit, that can we consider that as awareness or the training done, because it's always a problem for a multi-locational company to go ahead and get it all done, the training conducted, attendance, everything becomes a lot of paperwork. So instead, the online, I found it good. I just wanted to know, in the eyes of law, will it be considered valid, is something that I wanted to understand.
To answer to that, Rupali, yes, it is valid.
Okay.
You can have online awareness training programs in person, but you have to ensure that all these aspects are people are properly sensitized on these aspects.
No, the person who is teaching online is that's a proper professional module that we run, not by any HR person on Zoom or something. It's a proper professional module on a LMS run.
But for internal committee, it is a longer module and you have to really
yes.
develop the capabilities of internal
For
committee,
them, it's a different module, and for rest of the employees, it's a different module. It's a detailed module for the committee member, and for the employees, it's an awareness module. What are their rights?
Yeah, absolutely.
One more experience I want to share, since you've got this online versus the training programs which happen in class. Classroom trainings are always more effective in this kind of things because there are lots of questions people have. My experience all over the place, many of the times even in South. So you know how Bangalore or Chennai people are.
Yeah, yeah.
I have seen even this kind of subject. People in Chennai, they speak and they come up with the questions. So it is very essential in online modules. There is limitation to questions and then
Limitation to questions.
interactions.
Absolutely.
So it
Yeah.
needs to be very activity oriented and a lot of interaction needs to be there. So you also need to have, as you said, your trainer was not right. So you need to have a proper trainer who understands the subject. It is very essential to have, and it also goes true for the external member who understands. So it is not about the certification. That's why law says person needs to have at least 5 years of experience in this field. Somebody who understands. That is very important.
Okay.
Okay.
Next question.
Amit, we are almost 8:12.
Okay.
So sorry for it. What we can do is we can just have a fireside chat with Amit Murukar on the lockdown series group as well. We have the group there. You can go ahead and ask your questions there. We are signing off from with Amit Murukar on this call.
Okay, just last question. I answer one line answer. Basis question: are there any risk in having a gender neutral policy in the context of POSH law, which is for protection of women? There is no risk as such. You need to have, you of course need to cover. Here it's your policy. You need to cover all the aspects for women. But it's a policy for company. You can take care of all the employees. So in fact, having gender neutral policy is good.
Okay, so thank you, Amit. It was a wonderful session out here.
Thank you so much.
We all liked, and you were all a lovely audience together. For tomorrow's session, stay tuned, stay watching LNE Global Mumbai. Collaborate, co-create, and contribute. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Pranavesh and the team, and everyone who joined here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hamid.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And okay.
Yes. You can connect with me offline.
Sure.